guys, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are a little bit late because we have internet gremlins. So, we are here. One of our players might be a robot or a doppelganger or stuck between worlds. We don't know yet, but we'll find out. So first and foremost, if you guys want to support the channel and all the things we do here, please go check us out on Patreon. If you want to join the conversation and talk about these wonderful games, please go check out us on our Discord. And most importantly, if you guys want to support these wonderful players, you can do so by checking that bottom right-hand corner where the corruption bar is. That bar serves two purposes. One purpose is when it fills, Natalie gets to do whatever the hell she wants to us, like giving us an evil horseshoe crab rat friend. Which will definitely come to bite us in the ass, literally. But most importantly, what it does is all of the money that goes into that bar goes back to these wonderful, amazing players, and hopefully to Jules' internet. Fix the internet. That being said, let's jump into this game. I want to see what happens when you light a homeless shelter on fire. Sorry, everyone in polite society. So let's turn things over to Natalie to take us back to Toranna.
To Toranna. Well, I'm going to give a quick recap for the road so far. Definitely not stealing off of Supernatural. Just a low-key vibe for this entire thing. We are in the city of Toranna, which is definitely somewhere in Canada. Definitely not where I currently live. Never. And how our entire party met was in a very fateful coffee shop where actually some of them have run into each other before. It is called First Cup. Because, again, avoiding trademarks. Wonderful. Kit, played by the lovely Keith, is there drawing, sees kind of everybody walking in, senses some magic around Levi, who has been creepily sitting in the corner, because Levi likes to watch Jules. Levi's a very fancy boy. It's fine. Jules comes in asking to see the photo that Kit has drawn that may have instigated some issues previously. And it triggers Kit to have a vision. They have a vision about somebody that they knew from the soup kitchen / homeless shelter, also by the name as Jesse, in trouble due to a monster chasing after them. Kit decides that, hey, no, we need to do something about this. And suddenly a little creature comes and scuttles out of the closet, gets nearly eaten by Lockie's shadow, and manages to scuttle away out of the store onto the subway, of which everybody decides to just continue to follow. Everybody follows northbound to Scarberia, where the Hestian, the soup kitchen, is, entering into what is actually quite silent. Lockie disappears around a corner, only to end up in the kitchen, sees that the owner, Jessie, is fighting for her life, throwing pots and pans at this large creature. And the creature then actually decides to bounce through a window, gets tripped up by a jinx through Kit, and set on fire along with the rest of the building by Levi. Lockie and Levi are going to mess me up, I swear to God. Levi. Lockie has only done so much wrong yet. Everybody chases the creature as it claws its way into the bathroom. And the last scene that we left on was everybody seeing it as it is halfway crawled into a mirror. And as where we pick up, which is exactly where we left off, the building is on fire.
And it's definitely Levi's fault.
I'm sorry.
It is.
There's a lot of accusations being thrown around. I saved the day.
The realtors would suggest otherwise.
They're not concerned about the day.
There was a reaction. You can hear me.
Yeah. They're not concerned with the day being saved. They're concerned with tawdry things like buildings and safety. I saved the whole
Property
day.
damage.
Yeah.
Saved, kind of. You saved something in the sense of the monster. As the last of what you see is, and I will pull this up back in, I think you guys can see this, show to players. The creature is crawling its way into, you just kind of see these long black legs that kind of just fold into the mirror. And that is the last thing you see.
I hate it.
Okay, well, because many reasons. First of all, it's a new episode. Second of all, this thing just climbed into this mirror, and the mirror, it's so important. So I'm fixated on the mirror, and I'm walking towards it, and maybe I'm having a premonition looking into it in the same way that I did last episode, looking into the reflective surface of the espresso machine.
I love when Keith gets excited about anything because he immediately, his voice gets way more sassy. You can tell he's like, and then, because it's the first part of the episode, excited
Maybe a
Keith.
conveniently timed plot poke my butt.
Yes, in the start of every episode, the Hollywell sister has to have the vision.
Good.
Perfect. That's so waving it up.
Oh my goodness. Kit, actually, you don't actually, I'm going to say you don't get a vision unless you're actively trying for this right now. Is that what you are trying to do? You are completely.
I rolled really well.
You really did.
We can hold on to it, though.
No, I'm happy. I'm going to say you hold on to it.
Okay.
And I'm happy to hold on to this because you kind of get part of your vision now, actually.
Okay.
You get part of it now in the sense of you see looking into this mirror, and you've walked right up to where this mirror is. The sink is kind of broken right now. It looks like something's like claw has literally gone through it. It's one of those white porcelain sinks. It's a very white, very clean looking bathroom. I'll give you that much. And it's kind of broken the sink clearly, and there's water coming out, but you step kind of right in front of it, looking kind of dead on in this mirror. And the first part of your vision kind of comes through, especially because it was a 12. It's going to be a two-parter. And the first part is you just see like there's this hand on the other side of the mirror. Female, slender. And it's reaching out, not like in a grab you way, but in a take my hand kind of way.
Kit takes it, reaches for it. This is not Keith. This is Kit.
I close
this is up to you guys to pull me away.
That player died. Closing that door.
Keith beseeches the other players sitting around this digital table to save my character, but Kit would definitely take the. I mean,
Good,
this is like the root of what Kit has been searching for some time. Is entrance, is like to figure out what these visions are about, right? To get to the bottom of this. So.
And you've always seemed to have gotten things in glimpses of mirrors, and this is the first time where it's been so clear. You've always seen like almost like the edges of somebody's clothing leaving a mirror. You've seen it feels like something in the side, in your peripheral vision almost, but it's never been so clear. And so for once, this is a clear hand extended to you, inviting you. So you reach your hand in to go grab that hand. And anybody else who's still in the bathroom, if you're still kind of shocked by the fact that you saw a creature climb its way in there, you see Kit's hand go through the mirror. And Kit, you feel your hand. You feel a hand grab yours. It is a soft, warm hand. There is something oddly familiar about this, but I don't think you recognize the hand. It's going to be hard. So
I recognize that from a catalog.
I know that hand anywhere.
This hand model.
Why are you studying hand models? That is a whole other question.
Sometimes the rings on the hand model picture disappears and ends up in my...
You get some weird visions, but not that weird.
There's a lot of expensive things on people's hands, okay?
There's a lot of expensive things get stolen in this game. We've learned this. Your hand goes through and you feel it held onto, and it doesn't necessarily pull you, but it kind of tugs onto you as your body kind of almost falls into the mirror. The rest of you see Kit's body follow, in theory, after the creature through the mirror into the mirror.
Hey, everyone else. I feel like we should probably do something about this. But Kit, I don't think we know your name. The doodler is going into the mirror.
So, like, you just hear Lucky go, fuck.
What?
And then just walk towards the mirror. And, like, if Kit was, like, kind of almost sort of reaching out for the thing, Lucky walks towards the mirror like they're expecting to dive through it.
For the record, Steve the Scuttlebug has was waiting kind of on the sink, watched Kit go in, you come right up to the sink, and it just kind of like jumps onto your arm.
Cool.
For the record.
Yep. So Lucky just goes into the mirror. Just
Cool.
like, here we go. Okay.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Levi and Jules, you have just watched Lucky just go into the mirror.
I would like to take this opportunity to point out.
That was the best time for that to stop. Sorry.
Really great cliffhanger, I'm not gonna lie.
The best is the pose. The very, like, perfect
I would like
mug.
to point out that Jules never actually went into the bathroom. Jules was actually going to stay out and try and help.
Okay. So
Help
Jules is trying
something.
to stay out. I'm gonna assume help Jesse, because that'd be the only other person there, unless
Yeah.
they had something to do against the fire. Correct? We kind of have Jules back?
Let's say that's correct.
I'm gonna go with that for
Yeah.
now.
Jules, just so you are aware, Levi did kind of just shout out that Kit walked into the mirror. So weird. Yeah.
Oh my God. Hold on. No.
This is the best. This is the actual responses you get when you see someone walk into a mirror. Is these excited...
No, wait, hold on.
No.
Fairly accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest with you, I have no... Levi has no allegiance to this Kit person. And it's really only to Jules because they are unique in some manner. So I think he, like, looks at the mirror. It's like, I don't have time for whatever that just happened was. And then he just kind of, like, steps out and, like, looks around. Hey, kid? You all right? Over there? And he kind of yells to Jules to see what the hell they're doing.
I'm gonna reach back here and pull down my sessions till we split the party sign. So back to 0. OSHA should know about that, probably.
I wish I was surprised. Oh no, I'm not. Oh dear. Okay. So when we get hopefully Jules back here, Levi, you're gonna be
With them.
with them.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in 2 seconds. We'll go.
Meanwhile, Kit and Lucky are dead. Next.
Rip, and that's the end of Through the Glass. Thank you everybody for staying tuned. It's been a real short season here.
Very
on
early
Gaming.
session today. Make new characters.
And now we're rolling. No, so you excellent. Oh god, there are now 2 Juleses. That's impressive. Kit, you've been pulled through, and when you almost come tumbling out, there is no hand holding you. Instead, you're actually in a bathroom. Very similar to the one that you had actually just left. Very similar. But except everything's almost, it feels muted. Everything's in tones of gray. There's no color here. There's no, like, even the white isn't really white. It's almost like a shade of gray to account for what in theory is lighting. You don't see a hand anymore. And just a couple moments later, Lockie comes in through the mirror after you. And you see there's these dark spots on the ground. It looks like it might have been blood. It might have been something from the creature starting to lead out of the bathroom.
Oh my God, can we see me and hear me now?
I can see and hear you.
Yay!
Jesus fucking Christ. Ah. Oh my God. All right. Jesus.
We're good.
Anyway, What I was trying to say earlier was Jules did not follow everyone into the bathroom. Jules was going to try and help Jesse, but I assume that now I'm in the bathroom with people because I heard people calling out. So there we are.
If you heard some noises, you can decide to go into the bathroom. Levi decided to go out the door to try to find you. And so you probably have kind of met up right at that door frame of the bathroom. You would have missed Lockie and Kit's, but if you look, just looking past Levi's shoulder, you'll notice that Lockie and Kit are missing. And you know you saw them go in there.
Where are the other two?
In the mirror? That's the appropriate face to make. They walked into it. They, like, climbed, like it was a window, but of mirror?
Are you on something?
Not right now.
Okay.
It's legal here. What do you want from me?
Jules is going to go to the mirror and put their... Can I do that? See me.
I think putting their hand to the mirror is what's happening.
Okay.
Is that what you're trying to do, Jules? Put your hand to the mirror?
Yes, I'm putting
Perfect.
my hand to the mirror. Yes.
Okay.
God!
You guys go in and you put, Jules, you put your hand towards the mirror. And you feel it, and it's not solid. You can actually feel some give. So, like, the more that you play with it, you realize your hand can go through it.
Can I kind of, like, push my head, like, into the mirror and, like, look around?
Yeah.
Like, so can I full blown, like, Winnie the Pooh myself?
Yes, completely.
Into this mirror?
100%.
That's what I'm doing.
You start climbing kind of on the somewhat broken sink, and you can stick half your body, your shoulders even, through this mirror. And on the other side, you see this gray. It is exactly like the bathroom you've just left, but everything is it's like gray tones. Everything doesn't seem like it's it's not normal. It's not real. But you see Lockie and Kit standing there, kind of just like looking around. The little creature crawled up onto Lockie's arm.
I would say that the moment that Jules sees them, Jules proceeds to like kind of like just motion to get further in.
Okay.
And like once Jules is like further on the inside without even like missing a beat and really giving it a second thought, is literally just gonna stick their head back out at Levi and be like, "You coming?" This is what you see, friend.
I'm gonna tell him. We can't hear you, Mike.
Well, you saw what I was doing
Great bell.
with like a foot. You saw me grab the edge and get a foot in, so that's what I'm doing, guys.
No.
Sometimes we hit mute buttons, and sometimes we have bad internet. Okay.
Sometimes it's first.
Christ's sake.
This is the worst.
It's not a tabletop stream
Pretty
unless you've had several
funny.
technical difficulties.
I'm
All
a
right.
professional. This is a professional stream.
So wait, is this place on fire too?
Don't
So you guys are still in the bathroom.
don't give her
You
that.
haven't.
We just leave a place on fire.
Yeah, rude.
Wait, but for real, did we just leave fire like peas were out?
Yeah.
Oh, we have to go back and put out the
That is
fire.
so- oh, guys.
Oh no.
As you've all kind of entered into this place and you're starting to freak out about the oh God, we left the other place. Well, some of you are freaking about the, oh God, we left the other place on fire. Some of you still believe you saved the day. So
Some of you are completely nonplussed.
I have a weird question. So before Kit, you have the rest of your vision. You still feel like there's something. Actually, no, that's pretty much the rest of your vision. Kit, is you, instead of seeing something, it's almost like you're seeing something everywhere. It just feels like there's something watching you.
Always feel like somebody's watching me.
But also,
When I'm in a mirror world.
I love that when you sing and dance, it's crystal clear audio and video. But when you
Absolutely
actually
perfect.
try
The powers of the bard.
when you try to role play,
Only
you're
do
a
that.
robot.
Jules is now only singing. Speaking of though, so quick question: what is so Levi, Lockie, and Jules, upon getting in here, what are you thinking?
Can I get back
I mean,
out?
if it looks, well, I'm going to assume that because I could stick my head out a moment ago that we might be okay to get back out, but I'm not going to wander away from this space. Definitely going to just like be looking around and like slowly starting to recognize that it looks the same, but is it just like a grayed out space?
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of taking that in, but just
Okay,
like the
that's going through your
sort of
brain.
thing.
Lockie, what's going through your brain right now?
I think Lockie's mostly running on instinct, like they're just breathing and like trying to keep an eye on what is happening and making sure that
Just complete deadpan face,
just
just
like yeah, but like kind of like alert mostly. They're just trying to like they know that the creature went through the mirror, and
Yeah.
if it's still around, they'd like to. That's what they're focusing on.
And Levi, what's going through your brain right now?
Can I?
What do you think?
Can I leave?
So that's what you're asking
Yeah,
in your head right now?
yeah. Like we just went through a mirror, not normal, to chase a monster, not normal, and the exit, the only exit that we know of, I just lit on fire to save the day. So I know we can get out of the mirror, but if there is no mirror to get out of, where do we go? Also, there's a monster in here. I don't want to be in here.
Kit, you are genuinely feeling right now like there's something watching you. There's something's eyes, but you can't find the eyes no matter how much you turn around, no matter how fast you move. That hand is gone, but it's like something is still there. But in addition to that, you hear Levi's voice saying, okay, can I leave? I mean, I just saved the day over there. It's still kind of on fire, but that's the only way that we can get there. You hear Lockie along the lines of, okay, we need to track this monster. We just missed it. It should still be here. You hear Jules, okay, this is the same space. You are hearing things, but you realize that they're not saying them out loud.
I think before that totally sinks in, I turn to Levi, like suddenly have a moment of snap clarity, and turn to Levi and slap him in the shoulder and say, "Save the place? You just burned down a homeless shelter, you idiot!
Why are you yelling at me?
You didn't save the place. We need to save the place from you."
First of all, I did save the place. Second of all, I didn't even say anything. I was just standing here quietly. Why are you hitting me?
You didn't.
Jerk.
You didn't say.
Watch stealing jerk? No, I've been standing here quietly trying to figure out how to get out.
If I reach behind me and I'm touching that mirror, like if I push on it, do I go? Nothing happens.
Your hand goes through it again.
Okay. You just see like a wash of relief on Jules's face of, okay, that's hot.
Yeah.
We got to go put out that fire.
And also take care of the person that's in there still, I think. We can come back to this.
Listen,
Whatever
you two
this is.
willy-nilly jumped into a mirror. We just came after you.
Yeah.
But you're the one who lit the place on fire.
I lit a monster on fire. Excuse you.
Okay.
Did everyone see
But
the
you
monster?
also burned down the whole homeless shelter in the process. All
It's
right, we
still
gotta go.
up. Wasn't even structural damage. It was like a kitchen. Relax.
Okay.
Kid,
fires
Kid is
happen.
stepping back through the mirror again. Now that the clarity has washed upon them.
While you realize the clarity is washed upon you, I'm going to say you do recognize that you're hearing people's thoughts over here.
This is great. Everything's great.
For the record, while you're in this space, you have access to the telepathy move.
Glorious.
Nice.
And then, sorry, before we continue any further,
Oh,
as you're
God.
getting ready to start jump back in there, Lucky, can you do me a favor and roll weird?
No.
Nope. It's gonna be.
Gonna
be a bad time.
Not to,
no.
but I think I have to do the thing.
Oh, I'm asking you to do the thing.
Yeah. 7.
Oh, okay. It's not so bad.
That was not a request.
Lucky, you hear a voice. Nobody else hears this, and you know why you're hearing this. You know who you're hearing right now. You hear her voice. The lady's voice. And she sounds angry at you a little bit. But she gives you the explicit instruction. Get rid of these intruders, Lucky. You are
I
muted.
wonder what move that is.
Is she single?
Yeah.
She's gonna use that voice.
For the record, when you are here, Boss from Beyond
Mm-hmm.
will trigger on new mysteries. Which also means you can ask something right now in response from the investigative mystery.
I'm gonna go look at that while you do the rest of the other thing.
Okay. Well, I don't know if
Oh, I
see
don't
if the rest of
think
these guys
I-
figure this out.
Let me actually look up what that does.
You will have options such as what happened here, what sort of creature is this, what can it do, what can it hurt, where did it go, what was it going to do, what is being concealed here.
Okay.
And I know you probably haven't looked much at Boss from Beyond, but they're
Nope.
gonna always try to ask you to do something, but you will always in either, at least if you get above a 7, you will get the opportunity to investigate a mystery, or at least get one question from that series.
Give me a sec to look at the
Yeah.
things and think, because I have like 2 or 3 questions and I'm not sure which one.
That's perfectly fine. And yeah, and there's gonna be one other thing that you'll pick up on while you're here, but that's okay. We'll go through that after.
Great.
Jules, the one thing before you see kind of Kit start to run back into that mirror, as you were looking around and investigating this place, something smells weird about this place. Something feels weird. You can smell something's really off. And it feels like it's that creature. You can also see these gold footsteps leaving the bathroom. This is your I Know My Prey feature coming into play. It's
Okay.
never been something that you could figure out in the real world, but for whatever reason here, it seems to have a very strong presence.
So a very strong, like, sensory sort of presence going on.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Would it be weird for me to ask you to describe the smell?
Almost like swamp.
Oh,
Is
yay.
that like swamp water, muck?
And am I detecting a bit of low tide?
Yes. It's this weird,
Yes.
it's like, after a rainfall in the woods, and it's that damp, musky, wet leaves and mud.
Okay,
kind of smell.
gotcha. Mm-hmm.
And that is what you are currently experiencing. You've never, like, you've always gotten, and you recognize now that you, back in the soup kitchen, had, like, little whiffs of this, but it's never been so strong and kind of in your face until now. And you never saw the footprints until now.
Mm-hmm. I would also imagine that, like, living in a city, that, like, a swampy kind of smell, you would just instantly kind of write off as, oh, that's just garbage. That's just hot garbage.
Pretty much, yeah, actually. You probably just assumed it was garbage. Somebody hasn't taken out the trash in a few days, probably.
It happens.
But now you're kind of recognizing that, no, this is attached to the creature.
Has anyone else left to go into the, like, aside from Kit, started to head back?
I think it's just Kit has started to head back. We are kind of in that moment while everything is simultaneously happening. Levi, you are there kind of seeing Kit being like, oh God, I'm going to go back through the mirror.
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of watching this unfold. Like, I just got punched and accused of burning a place down and not thanked for saving the day. And then it was like my fault that we're all in the mirror all of a sudden. And now everyone's trying to get back out of the mirror. And I have no idea what's happening or going. So I'm just kind of standing kind of like low-key dumbfounded about what the hell's happening. Just like looking around at everyone.
Low-key, not to be confused with Locky.
Right, correct. Not to be confused with Levi.
Also that.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think I'm just kind of standing here like, what? What's happening? What are we doing? Anyone?
Kit, you're starting to climb back through the window then, or the mirror then, or are you waiting to hear back from anybody?
Doesn't strike me as a kid thing to do.
Cool. You're starting to pull your way back through this mirror. As you get to the other side, and you're like halfway through, because it's kind of, you got to get onto the sink, you got to climb through it. You look to the other side, and there is fire right there in front of your eyes. The fire has now spread into the bathroom. And it's licking the flames, it's up the stalls. And you start coughing. There is not a lot of oxygen here, let alone space to maneuver through the flames.
All right, I'm like, pull my head back into the mirror world.
Also, for aesthetics, remember they're black emo flames. So
yes, sorry, they are black emo flames going up. Yes, licking across, and they're like scarring and charring the white tile as it kind of just starts. It's getting so hot that it's melting, and it's just dysmorphing the entire, I don't know if dysmorphing is a word it is now. The entire, I'm going to make up words this entire stream. It's just going to be how it is.
I assume you did the whole time.
Pretty much, that's just me. And so
Sounds accurate to me.
Sounds legit. And so it is black and white and flames all over. Is what this is.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Levi, you're paying for that place.
What do you mean?
Jesse doesn't deserve that.
Who's Jesse?
The owner of the Hestian, the place you just burned down.
I'm sorry, I don't get, like, you saved the place from a monster? Like, is that not a thing that I get?
I mean, I don't see a dead monster here.
I mean, I don't see a dead Jesse here who was getting probably eaten by a monster, so you're welcome.
Well, probably burned alive now.
All right, well, rude. Okay.
You know,
jerk.
Levi has two catchphrases, rude and its bones are on the outside.
The bones, to be fair, the bones were on the outside, okay?
To be fair, the fucking bones were on the
outside.
They were very much on the outside.
Speaking of bones.
No.
No
one was speaking about them, Natalie.
No, no
Oh,
words.
no.
As you guys are kind of coming back in, Kit, you pull yourself back into this room, and you guys are
Emotions, my sweet summer child.
sorry. Sorry, Robot Cora took over again there.
God damn it.
As you guys, Kit, you've pulled yourself back into the room and you're yelling at Levi, but you guys will notice there is something actually a little weird about Lucky.
Oh, thank God it's not me.
I know, right? I know, there's just a lot of weird stuff the second you guys hit this plane of existence.
Yep.
Lucky looks more or less like he did previously. And please correct me if I'm wrong at all, John, but the one major kind of difference is there is this stark white bone-like almost mask that seems to cover one of his eyes and go up into a horn.
So that's that's one of the nose. So Lucky,
Please describe the rest of the differences that happen to your character.
So a couple of things. One, it's like if you took a photo of Lucky and inverted it. Like their skin is sort of an ashen gray. They have that same sort of like shade, like gray scale shading on their hair in the lighter spectrum, so it's closer to white and like a light gray than it was to the black earlier. They had hazel eyes before they went through the mirror, and now it's more like a soft, like gold auburn kind of color. And then there's the mask and sort of what looks like a one horn kind of poking up on the right side through their hair. And then if you're really paying attention, Lucky doesn't have a shadow in this world.
Ooh. Was that the whole time?
Since they've gone through it, yes.
Okay. Weird. Let me just noticed that. I was busy
You guys have
getting
been
punched
slightly
and yelled
distracted
at.
by
Yeah.
everything, so it's been a little much.
Yeah.
It's kind of overwhelming.
And I was getting assaulted by a
little bit.
sassy doodler, so. Hey, man.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
I don't know how to ask this in like a normal way. What's going on with your face?
Lucky kind of like turns and looks at you like, what? And then catches themselves in the mirror and is like, right.
No, that's not the response I wanted. You seem like you expected this face
You know something about this place, don't you?
and your face.
Quiet, Levi. Adults are talking.
Wow.
Uh,
Buy a homeless
and
shelter.
kind of like the minute Lucky like starts to open their mouth to answer the question, and then sass, and then sass, and then sass, and Lucky just puts their kind of hands together like on the bridge of their nose, and kind of from in the like the coat, the big old coat they're wearing, from somewhere around that area just comes a really loud like bark. And Lucky is like, if you could all be quiet for a moment, there's a monster we have to find, and I would preferably like to find it so that it doesn't eviscerate any of you and we can all go back through the mirror in one piece. Thank you. And like walks out of the bathroom into the hall and to start like thinking things, and also to finish the conversation with their boss.
Is no one else concerned about his face?
We're still in the shadow realm, as it were. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the place is
I'm gonna say
burning. We're not gonna be able to go back.
I'm gonna say that this entire time, the Jules has been like slowly starting to walk towards those footprints, to the point where if Lockie actually walks past Jules, it'll be the first time that Jules even acknowledges that Lockie like looks the way that they do, and it's gonna be like, ah!
What the fuck is that? What is that? What is that?
I think it's Lockie, but he seems really unperturbed about it. So
Lockie kind of like when you start
Lockie?
like screaming in his ear, it's just like that's awfully loud, and then just keeps going through the door.
it sounds like him.
And then stops, turns around, looks at Jules, and goes, "What were you looking at?"
There's. Do you not? There's footprints from the thing. Do you not see them?
Lockie hasn't looked, so I guess now is going to try to see if they can see anything in the floor, which I assume no.
No.
Okay.
No, footprints, that's weird. Somebody picking up on footprints is very weird.
So Lockie, just kind of unaware of the irony of this sentence, just goes, "Huh. That's strange." And then sort of walks over to Jules and says, "Which way do they go?"
And I'm gonna, I guess, whichever direction I see the prince go in, I'm gonna basically kind of motion towards Lockie, and actually if Lockie will allow Jules to, Jules will kind of like walk in front of them and just like kind of like lead. I will basically be your personal dowsing rod. Please don't touch me.
Sure. Lockie's just like sort of like steps back to like give them the space to walk through the door, and then follows along behind.
Okay. And they're just gonna, yeah.
Just start following up there. Lockie, did you figure out your question? Because this is in your head too, so it's not like you have to ask it out loud.
Yes, I have the question. The question for it is, well, so the question is, what was it going to do? Because Lockie doesn't know that Keith can hear their thoughts. John, as a player, does, and had to change their question really quick.
That's fair. Yeah, for the record, Kit would not have heard the original "get rid of the intruders." But Kit, you hear as you see Jules and Lockie leave the bathroom. You hear Lockie ask the question. Sorry, what was the question specifically?
What was it going to do?
What was it going to do? And you're referring to specifically the creature?
Yeah, is it okay if I alter the question a little bit?
Sure.
Okay.
How easy.
It's closer to something more like, okay. So it's closer to something along the lines of, why was no one here?
Kit, you kind of hear as you see Lockie and Jules leave the room, why was no one here? As if Lockie's asking this question, but you know he didn't say it out loud. Lockie, you hear back, well, the squad that was supposed to be here has been since disbanded, Lockie. Don't you know that? And that's the response you get on that. You get the idea that for one reason or another, they're short-staffed.
Yeah.
Whoever they are. Kit, Levi, you guys see Lockie and Jules leave after Jules seems to see footprints. You don't see anything. What do you guys do? What do they and him do? Gentle limbs.
I look to Kit and like see if they're going to follow.
Lockie knows something about this place.
Yeah.
They're not telling us.
And his face was gray. So.
Yeah, that was really weird, wasn't it?
Thank you. Like, no one else acknowledged the gray face. Not to be
I mean, you look,
normal, thank you. You're
just about the same as you did over there.
Yeah, great.
Which would be pretty cute if you weren't such an asshole.
Either have you heard about my best
I
friend,
mean-
Sassy Doodler?
I mean, you're not wrong about both of those things, man. I mean, I did save the day and all, so,
God. Nope, gotta mute myself.
What, are we gonna fight a monster? Is that real? Is that a real thing that we're about to do right now?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
I'm here to get to the bottom of this.
Great. Well, then I will. I'll follow you. And he motions. He motions that kid should go first.
Hair toss, stride
Yeah.
forward.
And what I really want to do, Natalie, is wait till Kit leaves the room. I assume everyone has left the room.
Okay.
And I am going to use magic because I can. So
What are you gonna do, sir?
what I would like to do is use a hex ability called Rotes, and the spell I'm going to use is a rote that is one of mine that I just
Okay.
made up.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you see the camera kind of pans to Levi, and he reaches into one of his jackets because layers are important when you're this fashionable, and he pulls out
It's also winter. It's fair.
yeah, also that, sure, whatever, and he
Maybe
pulls
real
he pulls
Winter in
out,
Toranna.
yeah, he
It's
pulls out a
cold.
small ritualistic knife from a spot on his belt
Sure.
that is silvered, and he sort of slices it across the palm of his hand, supernatural style. And what I want to do is you'll see him rub his hand like this, as if he's getting the blood, and he just reaches out of the mirror, and then you would see him moving around, kind of like I am now, and he's drawing runes on the tiles outside of the mirror. And I would like to attempt to absorb magic. So I'm attempting to pull the flames back in. Is
Okay, cool.
my thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you're gonna roll plus weird.
Yeah. I hope so.
I hope so too.
Oh, there's a button I gotta click.
There
Submit.
is a button, honey.
11. Fucking A.
Amazing. Okay, so this works exactly as you wanted to without any issues. You are able. So your hand kind of reaches out, and you don't know these runes because you haven't been doing this very long, but you have a good enough idea of what you're trying to do that you're
Yeah.
no, I got this. And you, with your blood, kind of just because you probably messed around with it on your fingertips.
Yeah, I think
Start to-
if anything of the two things that Levi knows is light things on fire and then absorb magic because that's kind of his addiction. This is the only one he's confident in his ability with, and so he's
It
I
became
think
your
I
new
can
addiction.
I can do this one. It's what now?
It became your new addiction.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the absorption of magic is the
Sure.
only thing he's real confident in how to score a new hit of magic.
Perfect.
So yeah, I don't know how much of these flames he can pull back, but he's going to attempt as many as possible.
No, I'm cool with this. Are you gonna stick your head out to the other side to see how much you pull back?
No, I think he's too cocky. He just puts his hand out and he can feel the magic pulse through him and just assumes that he did the best.
Okay, so you've pulled in and you can feel it as it kind of just your hand can kind of feel it. It's got that slight warmth that you normally you feel when you start to absorb it back, and you feel a fair amount of this get back.
Okay.
I'm going to say that as kind of an effect that'll go along with this,
Sure.
in addition to being able to succeed, because I don't think any of these really work super well. I'm going to say that you've got an asset essentially.
Okay.
So the next time that you make a roll, you can add a +1 to it because it's that excess energy that you're able to gather.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Okay. So then what I'll do is I'll add that to the rote as on a 10
Yes.
plus. I can take a +1 forward.
Correct.
Cool.
Let's do that.
And then once I do that, I kind of pull my hand back in, and I would assume you would see because that's what happens when he normally casts magic. When he pulls his hand back in, you can kind of see the magic trace through the tattoos that kind of cover his arms, And then he
Yes.
kind of like readjusts his sleeve, puts the dagger back in, and grabs whatever makes for towels in Mirror World and attempts to,
There's paper
you know,
towels of
yeah,
some sort.
gray, colorless paper towels. He attempts to.
So paper towels
Yeah.
in bathrooms.
Ours are
like,
brown here. Jeez.
Ours feel very gray. I don't know.
And he attempts to wipe off as much of the blood as possible from his hand,
Cool.
and then
Yeah,
follows
you
after
see-
Kit.
Your tattoos do this cool thing where it's like this, especially here, it's weird because everything's in such muted tones that the tattoos, it's weird because it kind of glows black. Like the black almost like radiates a little bit as you kind of absorbed it back into your hand. And
Okay.
it just almost like pulses for a moment
Sure.
and then settles down, and then you go get rid of the blood off your hands.
Okay.
And
I
then
also.
hold on to it to stop the bleeding.
For your terrible knowledge, I also take 1 harm for this,
Okay, cool, great. Love it. Perfect.
and then I follow after Kit and the rest of the group.
Just because I'm that player, I get to the point where I glance back over my shoulder in the way that, like the cover of an urban fantasy novel, right?
Mm,
So that you can see my butt and my face at the same
of
time in
course,
the shot.
superhero pose. I get it.
But glance back.
Hawkeye initiative, yeah.
Glance back at Levi. Do I see, with my sight, my ability to see invisible or magical things? Do I see the glow of this stolen magic? Question to Natalie.
Yeah, because anybody else is gonna answer. Now, so when it comes to your sight, so you're looking. You normally see just magic. You see invisible things, spirits, magical influences. When you kind of look back, you see the one thing you do see. I will give you with your sight. The tattoos on Levi. You see the pulse is clear to you as well, whether because of your sight or just because they are that clear when this happens. Hard to say, but that you pick up on that a little bit, and that's all you can really figure out.
Fresh ink.
Do you say that?
Yeah.
He like
And then
quickly
I turn and walk away.
he quickly pulls his hand back in and rolls his sleeve down, and then sees that you're gone, and then rolls it back up because fashion's more important than secrets.
Yes.
And then he follows after you. And if
Because
that's not a
sleeves must
quote
be
for a
cuffed.
tombstone, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's perfect, actually.
I was gonna say that's a hashtag for the night. There we go.
Fashion's more important than secrets.
And also
Yeah.
a game last night.
That is actually the title of the episode.
We're just gonna like have subtitles for all these episodes.
That's the full length title of the show. It's Through the Glass. Fashion's more important than secrets.
Yeah,
I love
you
it.
should not be surprised here.
I love it.
You guys follow out. You see, so this, for Jules and Lockie, who have already started to make their way out to start tracking, you see, this is the soup kitchen. It's just empty. It is completely empty and devoid and just, it's weird. It's kind of bizarre. And you see the kind of footprints, kind of almost like they ran around the room and then go towards the door. The door that leads outside. The place obviously is on fire. The place seems almost devoid of furniture. Lockie, you're used to this place having couches, beds, cots, sleeping bags. It's normally kind of a mess and full of things, but it's almost an empty space. Or at least rather, you're used to the soup kitchen in the real world looking like that.
Yeah.
This space is just empty. Jules,
I would like to investigate a mystery.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
I like it.
Let me
So
go
you're gonna
ahead and do the.
Roll plus sharp.
Oh my god. Hold on.
All good.
Boop.
9. Okay.
9.
So on a 7 and 9, you can ask, you hold one. The hold can be spent to ask one of those questions. So what happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can it hurt? Where did it go? What was it going to do? What is being concealed here?
I'm gonna ask, what was it going to do?
What was it going to do? You are getting, as you kind of like look and you kind of focus yourself. You focus yourself through this. You're kind of tuning into this is your prey. This is the thing that you've been after. What was it going to do? It was trying to escape. It was clearly on the run. It was very much trying to desperately get out. It almost looks, you see the footprints head towards the kitchen, almost like it realized, no, I can't get out there, circle around, and then go to outside the door like it's just trying to run away, like it was scared.
Gotcha. Okay. Once I have that information, I'm gonna kind of like glance over my shoulder towards Lockie. One, to make sure that they're still back there.
Yep.
And two, to just relay that information. Like it looks like they've gone this way, and I think that I don't know, the markings on the ground and everything like that kind of seem really panicked. So I think they were just trying, I don't know, this is all really confusing. And Jules is also like, as they're saying this, is going to like be turned back around and not actually be facing Lockie, because Lockie is looking very strange right now, and Jules is just like, I'm gonna have an anxiety attack if I look at them directly right now. So in order to slightly above 0, I have to not look at them.
That's reasonable. And I think Lucky sort of like notices you like look back at them, turn away and start talking, and then just kind of like takes a step back just to make it further out of your field of view. And then it's just like, okay. Can you tell which way it went from here?
Yeah, and I'm just gonna kind of motion towards, you said the kitchen?
No, the outside
Towards that
door.
way?
It looked, the tracks
the
went
kitchen
towards
area.
It went to the
motion
outside door.
towards that.
No, it went definitely outside. I think probably cut out while I was halfway through explaining. The kitchen, it looked like it tried to go there, realized there was no out, and then it went outside. She is completely frozen. In the best possible frame. I'm so sorry, Cora. You're that kind of, I think.
Oh my god. It's my least favorite thing.
Okay. For the record, it went towards the outside door. It looked like it stopped at the kitchen, realized it couldn't get out that way, and then continued towards the outside door.
Okay. So I'm going to relay that information to Lockie, and as I do that, just kind of stop and like turn and actually now look back at Lockie and just be like, did this happen because of us coming in here?
And Lockie just kind of nods. And then sort of shrugs a little, then walks over to the door leading outside to see if they can hear anything. The door is the door closed, or is it kind of like swinging open?
It's
closed.
It's been closed back. While you guys are doing this, both Kit and Levi make their way out, and you guys are starting to see kind of just Jules and Lockie in the center of this big, open, empty space as they've been kind of looking at the tracks and looking at where the creature has gone. So you guys are all in this big open space together now, as Lockie goes to look towards the door.
Okay.
Are you heading towards the door then and heading out?
I'm out of my depth here.
Plant up against the door to see if they can hear anything on the other side before they like.
Do you say that outside?
Yeah, I said that out loud. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, guys, I'm out of my depth here. Like from what I can see, Levi looks like he's on a fucking mission, and Jules looks like she's hunting something. So I'm like, or they look like they're hunting things.
Wait,
Sorry. And I'm like,
hold on.
He meant Lockie. He's confused
That's what
his
I
whole
thought.
character.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yep. That's what I thought.
Lockie looks like he's on a mission. I'm not. And Jules look like they're like hunting something. So like, by all intents, and Kit seems to be a driving force for good here. It's like, we gotta hunt the monster down. And I'm like, I don't want any of the thing that's happening here. So I'm very out of my depth. And yeah, I pretty much just say it out loud. I'm like, guys, I'm out of my depth here. What are we doing?
Levi, I think you might feel better when there's not so many walls around you that you would burn down.
Okay.
Once we get outside, maybe you'll feel more comfortable about this whole thing.
I don't feel comfortable about hunting monsters or being in what do we call this, mirror world?
Seems about right.
When you like call it mirror world, Lockie just kind of offhandedly from where they've got like an ear pressed up against the door, just kind of says, "No, it's the real world for people over here," and then leans back and kicks the door open.
Not helpful. Oh, okay. We're going in.
You kick open the door, and you see, and anybody else that kind of comes up to the door to see this, it looks like the streets of Scarberia, but it is a lot more barren. It's missing. There's buildings missing. It looks like it only has about a quarter of the buildings that were originally in this neighborhood. There's nobody on the streets. There's no cars. There's no... You look up in the sky, there's no sun. It's just endless gray that is just eclipsing this entire space. Off to, you would assume based on your kind of where you're located, towards the direction of almost downtownish, there is a light that's kind of just on the horizon, backlighting a lot of skyscrapers. Not sure if it's really a sun or if that would be what counts as the sun, but there's just this light that's present there. But it is empty, it is quiet. And Jules, there are more footprints careening down southbound.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Jules relays that information to Lockie and kind of looks at both Kit and Levi. We're just going to say more specifically to Levi. I don't really know what's going on either. But I think this thing has something to do with my friend, and this is the first time that I'm finding something that might lead me to more information. So I can't speak for you, but I've got to look into this more. And since and Jules is just going to kind of like motion towards Lockie, seem to know their way around. I mean, this is all really bizarre, and I'm right there with you. I don't have any. I'm trying really hard to not be super freaked out right now, because there are more important things, like trying to figure out what that thing was and what it wanted to do where we're from. So it's all really confusing, but I think that at the very least, as long as we kind of stay with one another, at least while we're in here, once we get back out, we can do whatever, but yeah, I gotta do what I gotta do.
Well, you dragged me in here, so.
You could go back to your building that you burned down.
The building's fine. Quit whining about it. It wasn't even structural damage. It's a tile kitchen. It'll be fine.
Not from what I saw, but
it'll be fine. I promise. Shut up. And he like steps forward towards Jules.
And
Save
so
the day
Lockie
one
kind of
time.
looks. Lockie
Never
kind of
forget.
looks off in the direction of the sort of footsteps where Jules sort of told them where they were headed. And then that's the conversation sort of happens behind them. And then as Levi sort of steps up to the two of them, Lockie just kind of offhandedly says, "You actually might want to stick around for this."
What the hell does that mean?
And Lockie just, like, for maybe the first time since, like, Levi has become the person they are now, maybe, Lockie, like, actually looks at Levi in the eyes and says, "You don't think that comes from nowhere, do you?" And then takes off in the direction of the footprints.
I have no idea what he's talking about, for the record.
Lockie likes to drop truth bombs. Why?
Yes. Cut to us in Final Fantasy like world map mode where we're like walking in a line.
And it's these like little pixelated characters too. And it's just yeah, no, that's exactly
It's
what
just
I'm
me
imagining.
the entirety of this game.
Perfect. It's perfect.
8-bit
You
Jules.
guys, like 8-bit. I love it. I love every bit of it. If somebody wants to make 8 bits of these characters, please, for the love of God, I will.
Would an 8-bit Jewel just be a rupee?
Oh,
Get out.
That's
That's the end of the season. Get out.
Jules died. I don't know how that happened, but I'm kidding. The worst. Anyways, you guys are all following along this like southbound pathway, following these footsteps that seem to almost have. You're not sure why that they made some twists and turns along some streets, but they're all such empty streets. You guys eventually make this one turn, and what happens, you guys start hearing something. You start hearing talk off in the distance. Does this make you guys, what do you guys do once you start hearing these other voices or commotion?
I mean, who is in front, or are we?
I was gonna say, what is your like? How are you guys doing this? How are you guys walking?
I mean, I imagine that Jules or Lockie is kind of heading the front of it because we were the ones that were following the. So either one of us two would be, and I imagine that if Jules is the person in front, that they're gonna do like the SWAT team move and just do the whole, and like kind of crouch down. So that they're like less, it's the hold and just crouch down. Just a little bit, just like kind of squat. Yeah, it's just too many true crime things.
So many.
True crime and show.
Anyway. So the voices, are they're I mean, they're obviously audible because we can hear them, but can we hear what they're saying?
If you guys stop, you'll be able to.
Does Lockie? So Jules stopped, right? Is that what I just
Lockie
heard?
stops.
Jules
Lockie
stops.
stops like
Okay.
instantly.
So if Jules stops, then like I mean, obviously if Lockie and Jules both stop, Levi will stop. He's not leading this fucking troop.
Kit, are you also doing the stop thing, Kit? Are you paying attention then? You're gonna pay attention to the instructions by now, Commander Jules. SWAT team Commander Jules.
I do imagine though, like Lockie looks like he's serious business, and then Jules does the, and then and then both Kit and Levi go.
Yes.
Like I don't know what that means.
They seem like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I didn't watch that show.
I love it. Perfect. You guys can start hearing. You hear this kind of faint mumbling, but the quieter you all get, the group of you get, you start to hear these voices talking, and you hear kind of a gruffer one. I said that there's something that went through this one, but I don't know what they're talking about. Yes, I'm aware, but you'll understand that we just need to listen to her. This is our assignment today. You know, I'm getting really tired of these really shit-ass assignments. You can shut up, Mono. It really doesn't matter. We do the assignment. That is our job. You know, we've got kind of a point. From getting really shit assignments lately, it doesn't matter. if our assignments are bad. We just need to watch it. Nothing goes in, nothing goes out. And as long as we do that, we've done a good job. And it's kind of just this bickering that continues on along those lines between these three voices.
I think Kit is wishing so hard and thinking so hard about the assignment and wanting to know more about the assignment that without even necessarily knowing it is using telepathy to manipulate.
Good.
That's like the theme of Kit.
I promise Jules and Levi
magic
that
things happen.
you guys get some extra stuff that's here, but you just don't know it yet. Please roll. Theirs is just the very much more obvious ones. Well, mark experience.
There are
one.
thoughts in the air somewhere.
Yeah. This can only end well.
Yes. So
And in tears.
Yeah. For me.
only. You don't really find out the upside. Like with these, there's no real negative necessarily. You hear everything you hear is really jumbled. You're getting kind of used to this telepathy power still, and it's like there's just a lot of voices in your head. So while you're trying, you absentmindedly kind of like reach out to figure that out. Actually, there is something bad that happens. You reach out to try to figure this out, and you don't even realize you're doing it. And you hear this jumble of messages, and then suddenly everything stops. All of the talking stops. And it is quiet.
I think something bad's about to happen, you guys.
Yep.
I think at that awful tone drop right there, Levi can't suppress being Levi anymore. Having heard
Burn it!
Having heard what he just heard, he just stands up from what I assume was a squat that he was in and says, "Are you guarding the door for monsters?"
Shut up, Levi.
Because like one good out.
Instinctively, Jules is literally like from still a squatting position, gonna like punch him as hard as they can in
Ow!
like the thigh.
Why are
to
you
try
hitting
and, like,
me? Everyone's
Jules,
punching me.
Jules.
Shut up!
Question for Jules. Do you still have your rings on, which I'm assuming is what you're using as your brass knuckle?
I do! I never took them off!
Cool.
So on the stand.
I am going to be a bit of a jerk for 2 seconds here.
Oh boy.
At least
Kick the man.
2 seconds.
At least 2 seconds. Are you trying to hurt him or no? Like, or is it just a casual touch?
Toy.
It's more of a it's kind of a casual punch as a way of being like, dude, knock it off. It's not like meant to like
Cripple his leg.
Cool. So when you
just
this is great.
these three creatures just here. And then and the sound of someone groping to the ground.
I love this because we can kind of hear you and it's actually working out. So you go and you punch him. I'm not going to make you roll to kick some ass because you're not really trying to hit him. But Levi, you're still actually going to take you're going to take +1 harm.
Oh no!
Because I'm gonna have a twist. Welcome to how Natalie GMs anything. She twists the rules constantly. And so you punch, realizing like you really didn't intend to hurt him, but it actually leaves almost an imprint of your rings on the arm where you've hit him. Jules, for the record, while you're here, tools matter applies to your kick some ass rolls, which will actually give you a +1 to your kick some ass rolls. But in this case, it just actually hurts Levi.
Okay.
I don't know. Mirror world means I just added a bunch of extra stuff.
Yeah, he overreacts as you would expect. he's very much gets punched in the leg, and he's like, why is everyone, ever since I got here, everyone's just hitting me. This is ridiculous. I'm trying to find a monster and then punching.
As Levi starts to talk, Lockie just very calmly is like, Levi, shut up, please.
Okay, fine. Please don't hit me, also.
Oh, Lockie. Our
Wasn't
little
intending
Zen
to.
Thanks,
Are you
man.
sooth voicing him? Are you therapist voicing
Yep.
him? Perfect.
Fine.
Soothe, when you talk to someone for a few seconds in a quiet voice, you can calm them down.
Okay, but like, man.
I get it. It's weird. Just really
I
nice
just-
and quiet right now.
But if they're supposed to defend from monsters, they're doing a bad job. That's,
Yeah,
like,
they're
all
also
I'm saying.
supposed to defend other things, namely people coming through from the other side. So
Yeah,
Oh.
but if they're doing a shitty job, I need to be the one to tell them that they're doing a shitty job.
That's not
Duh.
gonna work great. That's really not gonna work great.
I don't see what's happening. I think we're doing the right thing.
So the talking has stopped, like, and everyone can hear that having stopped, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And you guys are kind of doing this whole Levi started talking and everybody's like,
Yep.
oh God, stop Levi.
Yep.
And as you guys are doing this, you see these kind of faces, kind of creep out from around a corner. And everybody can always see is really it's just one face that at first pokes out. And all anybody sees is this, it looks like that kind of mask that's on Lockie's face of the stark white bone, but it's covering their full face. There is 2 holes for eyes, and you see 2 horns curl back. And there's kind of a smile where the mouth should be. And it just kind of like pokes out and looks.
Jules, taking a cue from Levi, is going to go kind of quietly, but building up in volume. Bones on the outside, bones on the outside, bones on the outside.
Thank you. Hashtag Team Bones on the outside. Like, I think he looks to Lockie and says,
Not the time. I'm going to punch you in your leg again.
please don't. He turns to Lockie, goes, and he like puts his hand out like he's gonna light them on fire, and he like kind of looks at him quizzically. Yes or no? You're muted.
Lockie's just like, maybe, preferably not at the start.
And he just like lowers his hand.
Do you know them, Lockie?
Do I know them?
You
Not
would
those specific ones.
you would recognize them. You've never worked with them.
Okay,
Spoilers to the rest of the group. You've never worked with them.
sure.
You see this person come out, and you, having heard some of the conversation earlier, you recognize Moto. Moto was somebody you used to know.
Ding, ding,
I'm
ding,
gonna add that song to. I started a playlist for this entire game, by the way, guys. I will
Yay.
share it when I am done, but I'm adding that song, I think, now.
Excellent.
You recognize them as Moto. You've never worked with them, but you recognize them enough. And so, you see this, like the head pops out, even though it's kind of on an angle, kind of cocks its head to the side, even though it's kind of really more so down. Lockie, is that you?
And Lockie has been like super, like, chill, quiet, calm going on here. We're trying to deal with y'all. And the second they're like, Lockie's you, Lockie's like, yeah, Howie. Just out in on a field assignment.
And it kind of looks at you. Okay, but who are they?
That's complicated and something I'm strictly doing for Lady Kare, so no questions asked as best we can.
Guys, I don't know what's happening.
Well, do you know these? Them? You know them?
Lockie, can you roll act under pressure for me? Which is plus cool.
Hi.
I can theoretically do this.
Yeah, you can theoretically do
I
this.
can-
I'm
I
asking
can-
you to do this.
I can roll dice.
I would like that, sir.
You say it was cool, right?
Yeah, plus cool.
You guys know your bones are on the outside? Is that a cheat?
8. Lockie's doing fine. These people aren't helping. Like,
They're really, really not.
yep.
Okay, 7 and 9. Keeper is going to give you a worse outcome, a hard choice, or a price to pay.
Yep.
That's cool.
Cool.
The price to pay is Levi. Constant companionship. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah, Levi, your skin's on the outside.
That's where it goes. Jesus.
Maybe that's weird for them.
That's where it belongs.
Maybe that's weird for them. Don't be selfish.
Lockie does that
To
thing
us,
where they
you
just
guys
like
look weird.
looks at Moto and just like, like as this conversation is happening behind them.
Moto gives you this like look, actually stepping out, and you guys see this figure step out, humanoid. The mask mostly seemed to be the majority of what seems weird about them, because otherwise they seem fairly human, you think. Dressed in these dark leathers, almost armor. And the one thing you do notice that's kind of on like almost a shirt lapel as it kind of before it goes behind the armor is this set of gold wings. And this stands out taller than you all. It seems almost like it's hitting 6'7" probably. Like they're tall. And just looks down at Lockie. Okay. Well, you're either going to need to tell us what the lady told you, or we're going to need to check out your group here.
Jules is just gonna lean over to Levi and Kit and just be like, I think that they're stewards.
Lockie said maybe to lighting them on fire, so.
Well, that's gonna be a hard maybe then, my friend. So just why don't you just cool it on the lighting things on fire. I think you've had enough of that for today.
I mean,
at least for right now.
I'm gonna hang out and wait. But all right, okay.
Natalie, while they're having this conversation,
Yeah, what's up?
is there anything shiny on these people or interesting props?
Okay, you're gonna see that Moto has this big spear attached to his back. And otherwise, aside the gold set of wings, that's really the only thing shiny on their person.
Oh, yeah, these gold wings. This is our gold snitch right here.
Lockie, meanwhile, I'm asking you to either manipulate a person. You're going to try to manipulate Moto into what you're trying to, like the lie that you're trying to tell them. Or you're going to let Moto come over here and talk to the group. And that is up to you. That is your hard choice.
Can I help out with whatever Lockie decides to do?
Depends on what. Okay, Lockie, what are you trying to do? And then let's see how Jules, like, what your thoughts are to try to help, because I'm totally good with this.
So Lockie's gonna not technically lie, but they're just going to be like, Lady Kara instructed me to remove the intruders, which is what I am doing.
You guys all hear this for the record.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, does Jules hear this? Because if Jules hears that, Jules is kind of like, shit. How do I want to?
Guys, are we the intruders?
Lockie just over their shoulder. Yes.
Guys, we're the intruders.
Yes.
Intruders.
Yeah. We're totally not supposed to be here, and they were helping us get back out, and Jules is kind of do the whole like pat Lucky like kind of on the shoulder and just be like, yeah, they're being a real help. So it's all right with you guys, folks.
Lucky just
people,
like, all right, well, that's just probably undermined half the things I said, and now says another part, which is
what about the monster?
They stumbled through a portal that wasn't guarded.
Portal.
And they sort of tilt their head back in the direction of the soup kitchen.
The mirror.
Shouldn't that be your portal, Lucky? Where are Naya and Saba anyways?
We've had some administrative difficulties. Our rotation was pulled off shift due to staff changes.
I don't know what's happening.
Roll to manipulate someone, sir!
Absolutely doing that. Yep. This is going to end so badly. I have a -1 to that.
Good! I mean, what?
Garbage. Let's go.
That's
All right.
That's a bad number.
That's the mark experience button.
You mark a point of experience. This is
Yay!
an experience for you.
Can I help, maybe?
Yes, it is.
Or do you have to do that before?
I'm gonna say you normally need to do that before. Jules, I know you were trying to help, but even with if we added a +1 to it, it's still a 6. It's
Doesn't
still gonna
help.
consider
Nope.
a failure.
Yeah.
You're
it's not helpful.
trying to do something.
I was trying to play into the whole, oh yeah, we're totally not supposed to be here, and like
Yep.
they were just looting us back out. Sorry. Jules doesn't know what the hell's going on.
So Moto looks at you and is kind of just, hey, and you see 2 other figures pull out from behind this corner. You guys are
Yep.
kind of in this like alleyway standoff at this point. And there are 3 of them, all similar heights, still with this stark white bone-like mask with the 2 horns in almost like different arrays. Think tieflings, I don't know. But like some of them curl back a little bit further, and one of them goes like almost forward instead. And in these dark leathers and black metal, all of them with this gold angel wings on there. Kid, are you trying or accidentally trying to do something? 'Cause I see that face.
No, I'm just laughing at how metal these people are.
I know, right?
Black metal and black leather, like in their skull heads. Sorry, I just found it humorous. But I do want to do something because I need to steal one of these things with
They're
the
so
jinx.
Great.
You're gonna try your jinx?
Yeah, I'm sorry, not sorry.
You're never
but-
sorry.
It's the fixation. I'm not trying to steal it. I'm just fixated on it, and then maybe it ends up in my possession later.
Okay, roll, sir. Roll for me. Oh, of course. Cool. We're gonna
At a later point, the exact words are, the target loses something that you will soon find. So
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, thank you.
Natalie hates that. Just-
Natalie's cool with it. Called future problems for everybody else. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie loves it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I enjoy successes as much as I enjoy failures, because successes have their own way of being really weird and fun. I think, anyways.
Yeah.
Especially when they're stuff like
No
this.
good deed goes unpunished. Hey.
Exactly.
So Locky sort of like when the three of them all sort of step up together. Locky just
Yes.
kind of goes, still running in 3s, huh, Moto?
Yep. And you recognize the other 2 as Viken and Karai. Those would be the other 2. Either Karai is the one with the horns going kind of forward, and Viken is the ones with like it's almost like swirling a couple times.
Did I not like or like any of them, I guess?
Probably didn't like any of them.
Probably didn't like any of them. Okay.
Oh man, you got a total failure, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Can I be part of the
Horrible.
reason why you fail? Because that's just who Levi
Yes.
is. I
Do
think
it.
like when the rest of them kind of walk out, Levi leans forward and louder than he planned on saying, he goes, "That's too many to light on fire." And it was just audible enough for the lead person to hear that.
And yeah, so it's not Moto, but it's Viken. Those ones with like these like ram-like horns that
Yep.
kind of swirl in, and it kind of steps forward. They're nearing 7 feet tall at this point. And it. I'm sorry, you wanted to light us on fire? Lucky, who are these intruders?
I mean, I didn't want to. It was just an option that we had available.
I'm Lucky. This is not good for you at all.
I don't understand what's happening still.
And Locky turns to Levi and gives them a look. And that look can only be best described as, so you know when, like, people are coming by to sweep through a street to get rid of people who shouldn't be there, and then you need to split and run? Lockie gives Levi that look.
Okay.
And then turns to face... Sorry, which one was talking?
It was Viken.
So Vike turns to face Viken and just goes, add that onto a very long laundry list of things that don't look good for me right now. And then just sort of, like, because their sort of hands have been in their pockets the entire time, pulls one end of their coat back, and what looks like a really big, black, not quite dog, but, like, angry cannid something erupts from the sort of space in between their coat and the sort of, like, shadowy space in between their coat and their clothes, and tackles the fuck out of Viken.
Cool. There are multiple scenes that are happening here.
Yep.
As everything rolls out. You see Lockie kind of leaning into Levi to have this conversation as he pulls open his jacket, and out of the bag? Does it come out of the bag?
I mean, the metaphorical bag, but yes.
Metaphorical bag.
Yep.
This black canine creature, almost like direwolf-like, I want to say, creeps out and goes for Viken. Meanwhile, Kit, you hear through your uncontrolled telepathy, it's almost like a scream that you hear, kind of, and you know you start to be able to figure out what I'm hearing in real life versus what I'm hearing just in my brain. And you hear this almost scream as somebody is being taken, and you recognize the voice as actually being Jules. And you turn back, the others don't know this yet, you turn back and see Jules being pulled away, their mouth covered, and their hands kind of, their arm, like somebody has their entire arm wrapped around this person also in black with the gold angel wings and a bone-like mask, and you see almost protruding just above, because how they have held Jules against their chest, you see against their bare chest almost like there's this, it looks like molten lava, almost like has been in their chest. I'm actually going to share a photo in 2 seconds of who you see. We'll say, and if Levi and Lockie decide to look back, they see this. As you see this person holding Jules, a finger to their lips, as they then smoke bomb and disappear.
Emo goth ninjas, emo goth ninjas. It's my favorite thing ever.
And
all right.
that is actually where we're gonna leave off this episode of Through the Glass. With,
That's not fair. You can't pick on her. She's gone. She's a robot gremlin.
She unfortunately also cannot join us next week, and therefore.
That was a perfect way to do that.
Actually,
Also,
worked really well.
that is the weebiest emo goth ninja I've ever seen, and
I'm so ready.
support this.
I apologize for nothing.
I am going to throw this at John.
Yeah.
I asked him give me art for your NPCs.
Yeah.
I apologize.
You
for
don't
nothing.
apologize for
Yeah.
shit, sir.
For nothing.
You said, give me NPC images, and John said, here's the cast of Bleach. Here, take this.
Pretty
Yeah,
much,
I
yeah.
don't think I realized how much I've been taking from Bleach, but apparently I really am, and I haven't watched that show in like 10 years.
You've been taking so much that I've never seen a single episode, and I was like, these sound like characters from Bleach.
I cosplayed a character from Bleach.
They
Anyway,
have
that's a
skull
whole other
facey
story.
things.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
now we have to talk about that later, because now I'm curious.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that is where we're ending this episode with a black shadow dire dog going after these 3 people, and Jules being kidnapped by another one of them.
Like, you might need to change the font on the Through the Glass to something a lot more weedy.
Yeah, right. It's just the Naruto font.
I mean, you've already got the black fire thing going on, so...
Yeah, I didn't plan for that. I was just like, what looks cool? Not regular fire. Let's be emo about it.
Black Weeb Fire.
Black
Perfect.
Weeb Fire. All right. This has been episode 2 of Through the Glass. As you heard, Jules was kidnapped and will not be joining us next session. However, we'll probably rescue them. I mean, I would assume so. Or Cora's going to play a new character. So one of the two will happen for sure. That being said, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all the subs, the donations, all that fun stuff. Let's turn things over to our players here and our GM, and we will do our outtroductions, and then we'll get the hell out of here. So we'll start with our lovely keeper for the night. Natalie, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Hi, I have been your lovely keeper for this evening, this was everything I actually could have hoped for. I'm just glad I got to throw weird at you guys and watch you have fun with it. And yeah, for the record, I did confirm with Cora that they were totally okay with being kidnapped. I'm somebody who likes to make sure of these things. So please, Cora, corroborate my story here so I don't seem like the worst GM ever.
She's just going to leave you hanging.
My name is Natalie. You can find me on Twitter at Chaotic Rogue, where you can see all kinds of weird, stupid shenanigans that I am up to. What am I up to lately? God knows. This is my main stream, actually, for the next little bit, is I am just focusing purely on this and this evilness. No, I love this. This is a lot of fun. Otherwise, you can find me doing work for the Mage College. We're working on a variety of different projects and programs and stuff. We've got a Patreon, and I don't know what else we're working on. And I'm going to get yelled at by Derek later for being like, why didn't you support this? I don't fucking know. I don't know what I'm doing. I just write things and I put them out occasionally.
Perfect.
That's me. That's my life.
Speaking of also writing things and putting them out occasionally, we'll go over to John.
Segue.
Right? We'll go over to John. John, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Writing something, hoping it gets finished. So, anyways, I'm John. You can find me on the Twitter versus multiple. I don't know. Anyway, point is at Ryomasa, RY0MASA. And I mostly do grad school right now is mostly what I do. But we're working on a thesis that's looking at the therapeutic benefits of LARP and tabletop, and also doing some sort of kind of pointing back over at some writing and starting some new things based off some modules that I helped develop stories for way back in a couple seasons of Adventurers League a few years ago. So fingers crossed, knock knock.
Yeah, hell yeah. And last but not least, I guess technically last but not least, we'll go with Keith. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm Keith. You can find me at Keith R. Potempa, Potempa, on Twitter, Instagram, all the other good stuff. I run a after-school program here in Nashville, Tennessee, teaching kids tabletop role-playing games, and we have a system of our own creation for the younger kids, for the kids that are like 6 to 11 are playing this before playing D&D, called the Heroes Guild. So if you're curious to hear more about the organization or the game in development that is now in its 5th season of being run with multiple locations and kids and after-school programs geared for nonviolent conflict resolution and heroic morality and all that good stuff. If you're interested in hearing more about that, check out theheroesguild.com.
Fantastic. And as for Cora, who is not here right now, you can check them out on Glamour Bomb Live on Twitter. Also, the reason they won't be here next week is because they are recording for a podcast called Chords of Fate, which releases every Monday on Spotify, so go check that out, as well as other places that you can find those things. Speaking of podcasts, we have a new one that hasn't started yet, but it will. So go follow Dark Fortunes Pod on Twitter. We are doing a D&D 5e pirate-themed podcast set in the world of Humblewood, where we are playing adorable birds and woodland creatures that are bad pirate boys and girls. So that should be fun and adorable at the same time. Adorably terrifying. And as per usual, if you guys want to support the channel and all the things we do here, please go check us out on our Patreon or sub here. And if you want to join the conversation, talk about these games with us, and interact with the cast and crew and everyone else, please go check out our Discord. Links down below for both of those things. And from all of us to you guys, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.